One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your
While
booty.
50 Cent entered the courtroom, his expression was uncontrollable. His jaw was tightened, his hands were shaking beneath the table, and he wasn't the cool, composed music mogul we've seen for decades. By the third day of the trial, the witnesses. When 50 Cent publicly declared his support for Cassie, it was stated that Diddy lost all composure. What transpired next stunned the courtroom and had the potential to completely alter.
Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect
No.
your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party. What is he talking about? That's the kind of stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of it. No, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
And was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
Does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of
the course of this case. Interview 040207. Sean Diddy Combs built an empire on image control for 30 years. We've watched him walk red carpets with a perfect smile handle, tough interviews without breaking a sweat, and manage public scandals without ever losing his cool. His reputation, the unshakable music mogul who stays composed no matter what. Remember that 2017 interview when a reporter asked about rumors of payoffs to former employees? Did he just smiled, adjusted his suit jacket, and smoothly changed the subject without even blinking, or the time his restaurant venture failed in 2012 and he showed up to the closing night party acting like it was all part of some master plan? That's classic Diddy, never letting anyone see him sweat his teammate. Sure, this perfect image stayed intact. Sources close to Diddy revealed he employs a staff of 12 people just to manage his public appearance, from rehearsed responses to practiced facial expressions. Everything about Diddy in public was calculated. His former assistant told me Diddy would practice interview answers in the mirror for hours before TV appearances. He even had a special media trainer on retainer who would create surprise scenarios to test his ability to stay calm under pressure. But behind those designer sunglasses, former employees have whispered about rage issues for years. There were two Diddys, a former Bad Boy record staffer told me off the record. The smooth operator everyone saw on TV, and the guy who threw phones at walls when things didn't go his way. These stories never stuck because nobody with real power ever backed them up. The first cracks in this perfect image started showing just days before the trial. Photographers caught Diddy snapping at a fan, who asked for a picture outside his lawyer's office. Then came that tense pre-trial press conference where he gripped the podium so hard his knuckles turned white small things. But for a man who spent millions on image control, these slips were telling. PR crisis manager Tanya Rodriguez explained to me how this works. Celebrities like Diddy build personas like fortress walls, but under enough pressure those walls crack, and once they start cracking, the whole structure can come down fast. That's exactly what happened on day 3. According to multiple courtroom witnesses, the carefully crafted Diddy mask completely fell apart. Court reporter Marcus Jenkins described seeing Diddy physically shaking when certain evidence was presented. His leg was bouncing so hard the defense table was moving. Jenkins noted Diddy interrupted his own lawyer 3 separate times, growing louder each time until the judge finally stepped in. The breaking point came when Diddy suddenly shouted out during testimony, forcing Judge Harmon to warn him that one more outburst would result in contempt charges. Observers described his face as twisted with anger, something the public had literally never seen in 30 years of fame. Just when it seemed Diddy might pull himself together, the courtroom doors opened and someone walked in who changed everything. The one person Diddy never expected to see. Supporting his accuser, his longtime industry rival with an axe to grind and the resources to make things difficult the moment 50 Cent stepped into that courtroom, witnesses say Diddy's face went completely pale. Interview 517-7010. The rivalry between...
No, he did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that 50 shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just...
to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors. Right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit.
Right?
Wait, so this is...
So Charlamagne said...
It's not true, but I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you? What? I heard Diddy touch your butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo. Yeah.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what?
Between 50 Cent and Diddy goes back almost 2 decades. These two haven't just disliked each other, they've actively gone after one another since the early 2000s. 50 has never hidden his feelings about Diddy calling him out on radio shows and interviews, and especially on social media. Remember when 50 accused Diddy of knowing something about Biggie's murder, or when he publicly questioned Diddy's sexuality for years? This wasn't just rap beef. This was personal. So when 50 Cent walked into that courtroom on day 3, wearing a perfectly tailored black suit and those signature sunglasses, the entire room froze. Court reporter Janelle Martin told me the silence was so thick you could hear people's phones vibrating in their pockets. Diddy, who'd been whispering to his attorney, stopped mid-sentence. His head snapped up and according to 3 different witnesses, his expression changed from confusion to shock, to something that looked an awful lot like fear. No one expected 50 to physically show up. Sure, he'd been trolling Diddy online since Cassie filed her lawsuit just last month. 50 posted that hotel surveillance video showing Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie in 2016 with the caption, "Money can't hide who you really are." After the post received over 12 million views, he suggested he had more receipts regarding Diddy's actions in a series of Instagram posts. What most people don't know is that 50 had been in contact with Cassie's legal team for weeks. A person familiar with the matter told me that 50's team contacted them immediately after Cassie filed her lawsuit. And he told them my source revealed that 50 has always been able to play the long game against his adversaries. As he sat in the back row, the energy in the courtroom completely changed, with everyone looking back and forth between him and Diddy as if they were watching a tennis match. Then, during the lunch break, 50 stepped outside to a crowd of reporters who were waiting. He didn't just show his support for Cassie. He announced that he was personally funding additional legal support for her case through his Gunnity Foundation. "I'm putting money behind making sure survivors get heard," 50 told the press, "and I'm going to help more women come forward with their stories about powerful men in this industry," he said, adding, "This isn't about me and Diddy's history, this is about right and wrong." The timing couldn't have been worse for Dylan because, just as the confrontation reached its climax, the prosecution announced they were going to present new evidence that they claimed would prove Dylan had lied under oath. What followed on, the courtroom screens left no one ready for what they were about to witness. Witnesses say that when this news reached Dylan inside the courtroom, his reaction was immediate and violent. He slammed his fist on the defense table so hard that his water glass tipped over. His lawyer attempted to calm him down, but he was clearly shaking. Interview 10:11. 11:27. After 50 Cent's surprise appearance, the courtroom was already tense. You could almost feel the tension crackling as everyone waited to see what would happen next. The prosecution team had a confident,
Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit, like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he'd done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have more leftovers.
Cassie was not offended by what I was offended by. This is
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You know, that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah,
And
it's
wore
true.
it in public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line, in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some fly shit and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
The courtroom was already elected.
An almost smug look on their faces that said, Your Honor, we're going to drop something big. We'd like to present evidence item 47B. The lead prosecutor announced, and the defense team appeared perplexed. According to my source, Diddy's lead attorney got up right away and objected, saying, Your Honor, we haven't been provided with any item labeled 47B in discovery. So that's when everyone realized something unexpected was happening. The judge called both legal teams to the bench. They huddled in intense conversation for almost 5 minutes, while Diddy sat alone at the defense table, repeatedly looking back at 50 Cent, who hadn't moved from his spot in the back row. The courtroom artist told me Diddy kept cracking his knuckles one by one, something she noticed he only started doing when things got tense. When the attorneys returned to their tables, Did's lawyer looked defeated. The judge spoke directly to the jury. The court will allow this evidence as it was only discovered yesterday. The prosecutor then explained they had obtained security footage from Diddy's Miami residence dated April 2018. The courtroom screens lit up, and that's when everything changed. The footage showed what appeared to be Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. Though the video had no sound, the body language was clear. Diddy was pointing and yelling, backing Cassie against. A wall. Then came the moment that caused audible gasps in the courtroom. The video showed Diddy grabbing Cassie by the shoulders and shaking her violently. Before pushing her to the ground, Dylan's reaction was instantaneous. He got to his feet so quickly that his chair fell backward. "That's not what happened," he yelled, before his lawyer physically pulled him back down. The lawyer frantically whispered in his ear, but Dylan's face had changed. His eyes were wide, and his breathing was obviously heavy. A court officer approached the defense table. What made this footage so devastating wasn't just what it showed, but what Diddy had claimed under oath just the day before. He had specifically stated, "I have never in any instance physically assaulted Ms. Ventura or any woman." Even worse, he argued, because such activity never happened. There are no films or any proof of it. As soon as the prosecutor brought up these contradictions, Dylan's composure completely broke down. He kept shaking his head, muttering to himself, and at one point he even put his head down on the table. His lawyer asked for a brief recess, but the judge refused, saying that, "We will continue with the proceedings. Mr. Combs needs to maintain his composure." The bailiff later told reporters that he had never witnessed a defendant's demeanor change so drastically during a single court session, describing it as, "It was like watching someone transform right in front of you." As the court day came to a close, the carefully erected wall of silence surrounding Dylan's behavior began to fall apart as quickly as his courtroom composure had, and no one could have foreseen how quickly his famous friends would start deserting ship. Interview 1437, 16.7. Because of how powerful he was in Hollywood, celebrities stood firmly behind him before the trial. His famous friends attended, His parties
Be
worked
the only
with...
one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
said you're a hater. They
You're
said
a
you're crazy.
hater. You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying is,
might come from
you
you.
see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This is what was going on.
And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he's gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors. Right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit.
Right.
him on his songs and publicly defended him when rumors began. However, after day 3, the footage of Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie and his courtroom meltdown broke the code of silence. But the real catalyst was 50 Cent, who publicly supported Cassie, allowing others to take sides. According to an IISNI industry source I spoke with yesterday, suddenly people felt they could support her without being the first to share their opinions. That's exactly what happened within hours of 50's courthouse appearance. The celebrity world fractured into clear camps. The unfollows started immediately. Usher, who collaborated with Diddy on multiple hits, quietly removed him from his Instagram. Following list, Mary J. Blige, once inseparable from Diddy. During the bad boy era, did the same Justin Bieber, who considered Diddy a mentor in his early career. Not only unfollowed him, but deleted all their past photos together. These weren't random. This was calculated distance. The social media battlefield got messy. Fast celebrities started posting cryptic messages that didn't name Diddy directly, but left little doubt about their meaning. Lizzo posted a simple "believe women" with no context. The Weeknd shared a black screen with the words "power doesn't equal truth." Even Drake, who typically avoids business turmoil, wrote that, "the truth always comes out in the end." Cardi B went live on Instagram shortly after the courtroom video was posted, stating, "I've witnessed this kind of behavior in the industry. For years, it's time we stop protecting abusers just because they got money." She never mentioned Diddy by name, but everyone knew exactly who she meant. The most telling sign of Diddy's falling star, his calls aren't being returned. A member of his management team revealed to me that several A-listers who previously answered Diddy's calls immediately are now screening him. He's called Rihanna 6 times since the courtroom incident. She hasn't picked up once. My source confirmed similar stories about Beyoncé and Jay-Z refusing to release supportive statements despite. Desperate requests from Diddy's team are circulating throughout the industry. Meanwhile, support for Cassie grows stronger each day. Female artists who previously worked with Diddy are reaching out to her legal team, offering to testify about their own experiences. Celebrities who never publicly comment on legal matters are posting messages supporting her. Lady Gaga sent flowers to Cassie's home with a note saying simply, "I believe you." Someone close to Cassie claims that this change would have been unthinkable only a week ago because of Diddy's firm hold on the industry, which meant that criticizing him could result in career termination. However, the balance of power has completely shifted, and more celebrities are abandoning his sinking ship every day. The real explosion, however, was still to come as celebrities took sides, and the evidence grew. And Diddy's fragile composure finally broke in a courtroom outburst that left everyone, including the judge, in complete shock. Interview 1927. 2034, on the third day when Cassie was testifying, the last explosion occurred. The courtroom was crowded, with media in the back, celebrities strewn about, and 50 Cent still sitting there with his arms crossed. Court clerk Melissa Johnson saw that Dylan had been getting more agitated throughout the morning. He kept whispering to his lawyers, each time louder than before, and his leg was bouncing under the table all the time. He would loosen his tie and then tighten it again, all classic signs of someone about to lose it. Around 2:30 p.m., Cassie took the stand.
Wait, so this is...
So Charlamagne said...
It's not true, but I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh, no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
See, what you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you. I heard Diddy touch your butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo. Yeah.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
The last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look. I could find other things to do for money.
The rivalry between 50 Cent and Diddy goes back almost 2 decades. These two haven't just disliked each other, they've actively gone after.
He didn't give a fuck. Like, you can tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
The stand. She spoke clearly, making eye contact with the jury. As she described an incident from 2019, she testified. Diddy had threatened her career after she tried to end their relationship. He said he made me, and he could destroy me just as easily, she stated. Diddy started shaking his head before she even finished speaking. His attorney kept placing a hand on his arm, trying to calm him down. The judge noticed too. Court reporter Damon Williams told me, the judge actually wrote something on a notepad and had it passed to Diddy's lawyer. Apparently a warning about his client's behavior. The breaking point came when Cassie described a party at Diddy's Hampton house in 2018. She testified he had locked her in a bedroom for 2 days after seeing her talking to another music executive as she spoke. Diddy's face changed. His eyes widened, his jaw tightened. A vein on his forehead became visible even from the gallery. The courtroom artist captured the moment perfectly. This look of pure rage, unlike anything we've seen from him before. Suddenly, Diddy stood up. His attorney grabbed his suit jacket, trying to pull him back down, but it was too late. That's all lies. Pointing straight at Cassie, he yelled, "You know what you did?" The courtroom froze. Even the court reporter stopped typing for a second. Cassie flinched but kept her eyes forward. Not looking at him, but Diddy wasn't done. He turned toward the back of the courtroom where 50 Cent sat. "And you will regret becoming involved in this," he said, his voice breaking with rage. Court security immediately moved toward Diddy. 2 officers positioned themselves between him and the witness stand. Another stood directly behind his chair. Judge Harmon slammed her gavel 3 times. "Mr. Combs, you will control yourself in my courtroom?" She demanded one more outburst. "And I will hold you in contempt. Security, please remain in position." Diddy's lead attorney stood up, trying to request a brief recess, but the judge cut him off. "Sit down, counsel. We will continue the spectators." Couldn't believe what they were seeing. Diddy, who had built his entire brand on being cool and collected, completely losing control in public. A juror was spotted writing extensively in her notebook immediately after the outburst. Not a good sign. For the defense through all of this, Cassie remained composed on the stand. She took a sip of water and continued her testimony as if the explosion never happened. Her attorney later told reporters this composure came from a place of newfound confidence. Knowing she finally had support from powerful industry figures like 50 Cent, and speaking of 50, his response to Diddy's threat, a slight smile and a slow, deliberate nod as if to say, "I'm exactly where I want to be." When the court adjourned, the entire defense strategy, which portrayed him as a calm, reasonable businessman who had never hurt anyone, collapsed the moment he started shouting in court. A legal insider told me that they spent the entire night revising their approach because the power dynamic had changed in front of everyone's eyes, and Cassie hadn't finished telling her story. Because the perfect gentleman angle was now impossible to sell to the jury. Their new emergency strategy playing the victim just this morning, Diddy's attorneys filed an urgent motion requesting a mistrial. The document claims 50 Cent's presence was a deliberate attempt to provoke our client and create a prejudicial environment. They even included screenshots of 50's social media posts about Diddy as evidence of a coordinated campaign to influence the trial outcome. But the judge isn't buying it. She denied the motion within hours, writing that Mr. Combs' behavior is his responsibility alone. Now Diddy's team is scrambling to create a fallback defense that actually acknowledges some of Cassie's claims while disputing others. They're suddenly painting him as passionate but misunderstood, a complete 180 from their original approach. Meanwhile, Cassie's team is capitalizing on Diddy's meltdown perfectly. Her lead attorney has requested the judge allow 3 new witnesses who previously declined to testify. These witnesses reportedly came forward after seeing Diddy lose his cool feeling safer, now that his power seems to be slipping sources close to the case. Tell Me these witnesses include a former security guard and 2 assistants. With first-hand knowledge of Diddy's alleged behavior, 50 Cent keeps turning up the heat too. Since the courtroom confrontation, he's posted 7 times about the case, each message more pointed than the last. His most recent post showed a split screen of Diddy in court next to the security footage with the caption, "Actions speak louder than lawyers." In just 6 hours, it received over 3 million likes. He also revealed a new documentary series called Music Industry Secrets, which many believe will focus on Diddy. The most notable change, according to court observers, was that when Cassie returned to testify following her outburst, she sat straighter and spoke more confidently. Her lawyer confirmed this change, saying, "My client feels validated. She's finding her voice with each day of this trial." Legal experts believe that Diddy's actions in court have seriously harmed his case. Jury consultant Sarah Matthews explained, "Jurors make decisions based on behavior they witnessed themselves," she said. Another trial analyst noted the jury's body language visibly shifted after the outburst, with several members leaning away from Diddy beyond the trial itself. Diddy's business empire shows cracks. Shares in his Revolt media company dropped 14%. After the courtroom incident, 3 major brands have quietly paused their partnerships with his liquor companies. His talent agency reportedly put his representation under review. Industry insiders estimate he could lose up to $200 million in business deals. Regardless of the verdict, the power dynamics have completely flipped. Diddy, once untouchable, now watches his empire crumble, while Cassie gains momentum daily, and with 50 Cent promising more revelations to come. This case has become about much more than just one relationship. It might expose secrets the entire music industry has kept hidden for decades. The music industry power map just got completely redrawn. Diddy, who controlled his image and intimidated the industry for decades, now sits at the defense table watching his empire crumble in real time. Cassie, once afraid to speak out, stands stronger each day with unexpected allies like 50 Cent backing her claims. Nobody predicted this flip in power dynamics. 50's calculated move transformed what should have been an easy win for Diddy into a public reckoning that gets messier daily. This case isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's opened the door for others to speak up about powerful figures in music who thought they were untouchable. The silence is breaking.